Hello, this is Rich with breedingwiththemarkets.com. Today is May 22nd, 2025. There's actually a lot
Hello.
of people, there's a lot of people that wanted to hear from you. And I had a trade in with Watch Your Step, and all of a sudden, I ordered some food. I was pulling out and I looked in the bag and they didn't have half of my shit, right? So I
Mm.
opened the I opened the door and I have a step, I have a lifted truck, I have a step, and I get out on the step and I hit this curb line. Next thing you know, you see my arm, next thing you know,
Oh,
I'm right into the fucking big natural gas pipes and system and everything, man. I'm just boom, plowed right into it. So now they want to take a report because I got injured on their site and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, I got to get home. And I looked at the watch and it was like 1:45 or no, 12:45 my time. So end of close, right?
mm.
I got 15 minutes. I'm like, shit, how do I even close this trade? How do I get out of it? So I get on Top Step or, and get on the Discord. I'm like, hey, it says they have a flatten button, a flatten, get flat.
Yeah.
Well, I said, hey, can you get flat? I got injured. I can't close. I don't have the information. The bot says, you didn't provide enough information, so they couldn't flatten it for me. So I went to the Discord and said, hey, can someone flatten this for me? So word of the wise, when you're trading, you never know what the fuck's going to happen. I just get into that now I was up 2 grand and then I came back and now I'm down fucking 2 grand. It was one of those days with Top Step, but I'm not worried about that. It's a little bright, so I'm gonna put my glasses on, man. We're here with Martin, and what's going on? How are you doing?
Lots of different things happening at the moment. I think the last video I did, I passed a combine, got an XFA. Let's just say that didn't last too long. My own fault. Got a bit silly. Went on tilt, I think, the first day and blew it. It did get me down because I thought I'd put a lot of work getting into that. But I came to the conclusion that I was not ready. I hadn't practiced enough. I hadn't spent enough time perfecting, and I was jumping in trying to make real money, and I wasn't ready. Subsequent to that, without boring everybody with details, I'm moving out of my apartment. Landlord's selling. I've been speaking to Rich about this. The rental here in London is phenomenal. To rent a 2-bedroom apartment, it's 3/4 of your monthly salary. Let alone you've got to add gas, electric. We have council tax here. Food, diesel, insurances. To cut a long story short, I've been working in a negative for the last few months, and it's really sort of slumped me. And the harder I try at trading, the worse I become. Weirdly. So a little while ago, I took a break. I think about 4 weeks. Took some time off. Nothing to do with trading. I just wanted a break from it. It's been intense since the day I started. It's a lot of information, a lot of teaching to digest and remember, and a lot of bad habits that I had to get rid of and stop completely. The gambling, if you like. I picked it back up again about a month ago. Different mindset. I thought, right, let's just forget everything and just stick to what he's telling me, because he's still every day producing the results. So let's do that. So I can't go into specifics. Stop losses are the biggest killer of my trading account. So they have completely gone now. I do not use them. I just have a take profit. That's it. And I think I managed 21 days green, making 1K every day. And the money doesn't matter. But what I wanted, as I said to you, Rich, was the consistency over and over and over again. Yes, anybody can go on a chart and hit a button and be lucky. But can they do it every day? Can they do it and keep it? Or is it £5,000 one day and then lose 10,000 the next? So I wanted the consistency. So I set some rules in place. So yeah, 21 days. I was green.
That
I
was
have perfected it now to the first half an hour of New York Open, and anything after that, I'm not interested. And because it's volatile and fast and aggressive, what you've taught me works on that particular time. I set myself a target, not a financial target, but a target of a green day every day. I don't care if it's $1, $10, $1,000, $100,000. It must be green, because if it's green, that shows consistency and profitability. And then I found myself hitting my 1K target. And then I would, if I didn't lock out, a setup would come up, and it would be later on in the day. At other times, the market is slower. I find it more manipulative, more wiki, if you like. As I say, I've managed to find a system, not a system, but within your teaching, sticking to just what you taught at the times that I'm most comfortable with, which, by the way, I found out that most people are not comfortable at New York Open and avoid it like the plague because it's lunatic. And yeah, I've found consistency. The issue I have, I suppose, at the moment, as we've been speaking about, is lack of actual funds to trade. I can't afford, as ridiculous as it sounds, to pay for an XFA. So I've stopped trying to pay for an XFA, and I'm just using the time I've got wisely to practice and perfect and continue with the green days and continue. So that's really been it. I'll just say I'm currently converting my work van to be off grid with solar, mains power, a PC, the bed, the works. And as we've spoken before, I feel like life is punishing me down this hole of no money until I can't get any lower, can't afford a place to live. And then I feel like there's going to be this rocket as I come back up, and I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I wanted to touch with you before we go any further was risk management. You say it a lot in your videos. Risk starts before the execution of the trade, and this over leveraging thing. I think you've broken all the myths in the last couple of days of what can be achieved, and I would challenge anybody who thinks that that's easy, if you haven't done the teaching, to try and make 20 or 30k without this teaching, and watch how quickly you blow that account. It takes seconds at a high leverage. One candle and you're out. So the other night you showed me the video. Well, we spoke on a call, and I saw was it 75k before you posted it, and so I thought I'd try, because all it is after all is leverage. And I'm sitting there the other day. I think was it yesterday. 30k. I know it's demo, but it's 30k. I've managed to get to 30k with 100% hit rate, with a 4,500 drawdown. And I'm sitting there thinking, damn, I've done this on my phone again. And it's quite a scary thought, really. You know, you can make that level of money that quickly. Regardless of the size, the trading is still the same. You can put $1 on it, you can put $100 on it, you can put $1,000 on it. If you have that skill, it doesn't matter, because it's going to go where you, with a high probability, expect it to go. And then it does, and then it hits your TP. And then you've made, theoretically, some people's monthly salary in 3 minutes. And it's quite sort of, you think, shit, is that even legal? As I texted you earlier, I think it was market open. I think it was 7 minutes after market open, and I was 8k up, and I was like, right, now what? I know it's not real. I know it's not real, but it's the
No, it is
principle
real.
behind
The skill is becoming real.
Yeah.
Okay? The skill is real. So that's just the rewards for your skill that continues to build each and every day that you practice. And I want to get back to time. I want to get back to time, because I don't teach time, because we don't predict. We cannot predict nor assume where price is going to go. And the way I teach you to trade is, it doesn't matter about the time of day. I think I think what you're saying is market's open. I don't know what that's all about. I hope I don't have another trade.
What I meant by the time.
Hold on a second here. What is it? Are we allowed to trade on Top Step right now or no?
Yeah, but watch the spreads.
Are we sure?
Order filled.
Are you sure?
Order filled. Order filled.
You just don't care, do you?
Watch your stat.
At least give it 5 minutes to calm down.
What do you mean calm down? I asked you a question. Are we able to trade on? Okay, that's all I want to know. Are you going to tell me to calm down? Are you going to tell me to calm down? Have you seen me trade?
Oh, no.
You're going to tell me to calm down. All right. So
what the time? I didn't mean a specific time or a specific time to trade because of any particular reason. I just like the fast market, and that being is what I trade is NASDAQ, is a US based indice. It becomes alive at New York Open. For the first half an hour, it's pure enjoyment. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's not as lovely. I can still trade it, but in my mind, I'm like, well, I've hit my target already. I'll go back to work. Most of my trading recently, I've been painting a 4 or 5 bedroom house externally. And it just so happens to be that market open is at 2:30 for me in the afternoon. I've spent the last 2 weeks up a ladder. My alarm goes off at 2:28 in the afternoon, says trading time, smiley face. I'm up the ladder. I've got one hand on there, paintbrushes back in the pot. And I sit there with my phone and I wait for market open. And I watch it and I wait for it and I wait for it. And then I hit it. And then I think I've got the quickest I did it was 2:36. I was done. 6 minutes into market open, I'd hit 1K, locked out, phone back in the pocket, carried on painting. It kind of means nothing, but it was doing it every day. And I like that. I don't have a window to trade, or I can't sit at a laptop or a computer at the moment. I'm at work. So I have a very small window. And in that very small window, I am able to consistently make profit daily and carry on with my job. And that I love, because before I met you, when I was off with my broken arm, I would be at that computer at 6 a.m. and I'd still be at the computer at 8 p.m. And I'd be lucky if I'd made $20 in real money. So it's nice to be able to do it quickly, not rush it, know what I'm doing, be patient, calm, look what I'm looking for with what you taught me, take the trade, take the money, carry on with my life. Looking forward to the day that I can do that, maybe when I'm not up a ladder, just a little bit more relaxed in front of a PC and some time to do it properly and some money to pay for some accounts.
And what about at home? Are you still practicing on a still chart and all that?
Yeah.
Very good.
Unfortunately, I don't have the widescreen anymore, but what I have done is plug my PC into a 75-inch TV, so it's even bigger. which is great because although it doesn't show as much width, it's huge, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the what you taught me from the beginning of practicing on a steel chart, once you teach the gems and show us the mentees what to look for and how to trade, so to speak, all you want to do is do it in a live market, in a moving market. But that's quite hard to do because if you haven't developed that ability to spot and see what you teach almost instinctively, then you'll miss it, or you'll be late, or you'll be too early, and things like that. And the steel chart is really, really important because it almost imprints itself into your brain. And do you remember when we was looking at the chart the other day and you was talking to me? All over the chart, I can see the gems. I can see what you teach, and it's like they're on fire. Ones I'm looking for, the setups and stuff. And so the steel chart work is something I'll always have to do because it doesn't matter how much I do this, I will still find other things. And I've noticed, and then I'll shut up. I can't go into specifics again, but I'm seeing more things now that you've taught, that we've gone over, that I may not have practiced much before, but I'm seeing them more and more. I'll tell you after the call finishes. And I'm just like, that's a setup. I'll take that profit hit. That's a setup. But there's different setups.
Yeah.
And I guess, again, can't go into specifics, but I was only focusing on one of the gems, not all of the gems. Now I'm focusing on all of the gems.
Yeah,
and I'm
well,
seeing everything.
we've had this conversation before. It's not about just the gems. It's about the entire structure that I set you guys and gals up on. That it's, if we have 10 pieces, they need to come all together because we want the highest probability trade.
Yeah.
We got to understand the direction. We have to understand all of that. And I try to explain this to people is, they have this saying, buy low and sell high. But as you know, you can go on to YouTube and see traders, they don't even know where the fuck that's at. They don't know where low and high is. No one's ever even explained what low and high is. They just think every time a low prints, that's the low and I'm going to take it long, or that's the high, I'm going to take it short. So we as traders, I have to completely understand where low and high is. And it's not based on low and highs.
There's no reason.
Without details. Yeah, there was a lot of people that actually been reaching out or talking or DM and asking about where's Martin at and stuff like that. And you have a really great story, Martin. And I preach this all the time. It is absolutely not about the money. It's not about the money. So now, if you don't mind me to elaborate more, you're going off grid, and you have your band set up, and it's not 24/7 at times. You have other people in your life and stuff like that. We don't need to get into, but but what a freaking story, Martin, who came from a gambler, watching gamblers and push a button and had, different groups and discords, friends groups, or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden, when you came over to bring with the markets, if you come from that environment, you are who you hang out with. If you don't have the money to gamble, what good is it going to do? Because if you think it's just a video game, if you didn't save up and pay for the mentorship, then you would have never known the difference between what gambling was and actually trading. We don't have a specific strategy. It's not called a strategy. It's not called a breakout. It's not called a takeout. It's not called anything. It is absolute trading in the market. It is navigating through the market in an objective way, not subjective, not intuition, not I thought, nothing. If you can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Stopped.
As simple as that.
Yeah, I used to think, maybe it's going long. Maybe it's going short. Now I don't care. I don't care until it goes where it goes, and then when it goes where it goes, and it shows me what it needs to show me, then I'll take the trade. The scary part of this is over the last couple of weeks, at different times of the day, I've opened up my phone when I have a second to trade. I'm like, it's setting up. I hit it. I take the trade. I hit the profit. I put my phone back in my pocket. And I've just made a week's wages in 3 minutes. And it resonates for me because trading in itself, it makes no sense unless you know what you're looking for, unless you're taught it. So it's just a load of squiggly lines going up and down. How hard can it be, right? Or if it's going up, you buy, and if it's going down, you sell. It's really not. It's a language. I think I've said before. It's like trying to read music notes, and I have that ability now at any point of the day to look at a chart and go, now is not the time to trade because X, Y, and Z, and then I wait, and then I think now's the time to trade, and then I wait for the gems, then I take it, and I absolutely love it. Trading has become my passion, like yours. There's something about it that it grabs my attention like nothing else. I'm not interested in many things really, but this just encapsulates my soul. I might sound like a massive nerd. I don't really care. I know that I've learned something through your teachings that I will continue to practice. And although, as I said to you about doing these videos, I feel a bit silly because I don't have anything to show for it yet. I'm not saying to you, hi, Rich, I've got 5 XFAs and I've taken 7
Hey,
payouts
whoa,
on
whoa,
each.
stop. That's not what the video is for. The
No,
video,
I know.
the video is not to feel silly. The video is, this is a life-changing event, right? This is a life-changing event. And I keep saying this in my videos in different ways, and people and gamblers just don't get it. We have to literally ask ourselves what's most important in life. And right now you're doing what the most important thing is you are structuring yourself and your living arrangements and whatever the case may be. And the priority is not trading, because you are actually doing certain things to build a better and bigger foundation. In the meantime, secondary, and I mean this, secondary, okay, secondary from your job or anything, and not even secondary, it's farther down the line. You got family, you got significant others, you got your job, not in any specific order. But the main thing is, I had explained this to you in specific detail. If you have a moment by yourself and you're relaxing, go to the still chart and do exactly what I told you to do, and rep it out, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times, right? Rep it out. Not back testing. You don't even need electricity. If you just had still paperwork, right? If you just had charts on paperwork from corn, pigs, hogs, birds, whatever it may be, right? If you just had that still chart on the paperwork and go back 25 years, go back 20 years, whether it be on a 4-hour chart, whether it be on an hour chart, a daily chart, no matter what, you could practice with a pencil and memory, or just point, or just imagine, but it's muscle memory. And that's what stage you're at is wow, what a story, man. Off grid, going off grid to make bigger ends meet. Not that you can't afford to be there. You want to simplify and save up. At the same time, you're working on your skill. It hasn't been that long. It's been a few months, right?
Yeah.
And you continue to work your skill, and you're even using a platform that is not free. I don't know if you're paying for that monthly or not, but you're using a platform or a chart that you can actually go back, and that benefits you, no one else but you. And then when you have the money, then you reduce to the ridiculous and you take your time. But it's not going to be any different. Whether you have $1 million, whether you have $1,000, and just like I did a video today, I'm like, set $4 million in an account and say, hey, Rich, you can trade this for 2 or 3 hours. Go ahead. I'm not going to bring back $30,000. I can assure you of that. I mean, I could.
If I can bring back $30,000, and that's me doing the same thing you taught, and you are, as I've said before, you can trade anything. I mean, you're so advanced at this. Anyone watching, Rich is another level with this. I got the privilege to watch him the other day. He's just insane. There's just no word for it. It's a level of confidence that I can only aspire to ever have 10% of. But it's great to watch. It's great to be involved with. I'm so pleased I met you. I'm so pleased I've come on the course, because I finally have objective ways to trade and not guess and gamble and all the rest of it. So just to touch back on the living arrangements, I spend, like most people, all day working, sometimes late into the evening, to make ends meet. I have zero time, zero spare capital. Life is not particularly fun. And I know somewhere deep within my heart that one day that's going to change. I can feel it. I think they call it manifesting. I know it's coming. I don't know when it's coming. I know I've got to sort some shit out first. What I can do once I'm off grid in the van, and I'm still working, I can be at a customer's house, right? I can go back into my home. I can shut the door. I can put the coffee on, fire up the computer, mark it open, sit there with my laptop or my PC, trade in complete harmony, knowing that my outgoings are minimal. What that does for my mindset, what that allows me to do, is not panic, not worry about paying for combines and XFAs. Oh God, what happens if I blow this? I can't afford another combine this month. I mean, it's tight like a gnat's fart at the moment. Every penny is used up. So I know I could pass a combine this week. The sad part of it is I can't even afford to pay for the XFA. I can't even afford to pay for the funded part. So what's the point? Just keep practicing. I'll be out of here in a month or two. Then I can really hone in and focus, and then I can make that transition over to doing the combines. Obviously, reduce the risk back to a sensible amount and build my account. But yeah, it's all. I feel like I don't even have a choice in this. When I leave here, I can't even afford another 2-bedroom apartment because all the other properties locally or anywhere near where my work is and my children is $500 more than what I'm paying now when I already can't afford where I am. What choice have I got? You know, rent a bedsit, rent a room with my kids. So I feel like, as I say, life is pulling me in this direction. The lack of work coming in for me also makes me think, why is I'm supposed to be busy, right? I'm a handyman. I do work all the time. Why is my work drying up? I'll tell you why my work's drying up. It's none of my fault. Nobody's got any bloody money, Rich. I have to take money off of people who don't have any money for jobs around their house, whether it be electrical, plumbing, tiling, flooring, roofing. It doesn't matter. I do everything. If they haven't got any spare money, then they can't have me in. So I'm taking money or I need other people's money to live. And it's like a wave, my work. 1 minute it's flat out, loads of jobs. The next minute silence for a week. I can't deal with all this with high bills. So you know, with the van and stuff, I'm going to really be able to focus on what I actually want to do, which is trading. And what a cool way to do it, to go from, you know, down on the floor with nothing. And then I just feel it. I can feel it coming, this rocket of where it all just changes. And I'm excited. And that's thanks to you for teaching me, keeping me on the train tracks, as you say.
Well, like I said, is and I mean this, and you know this by now, that I'm available 24/7. Obviously we have different times and I sleep and busy too, but you can reach out to me at any time. You've invested in me and I am invested in you 110%. And I know for a fact, and it's a high bar, those who continue to practice day in and day out, or whenever they have time, let's not be stressful about it. Let's just look at the charts, go through what I teach you, how to approach the market, and erase everything you learned before, because you have to do that, right? We don't follow
You have to.
And when you're done with that, because I recently had a mentorship and they're like, man, it's going to take a while to flip everything upside down. You know, that's what it is. We basically took a bed with box springs and now the box springs are on top, you know, and you don't want to lay on the box springs. So that's why you get in and out of the market, right? It's like, hey, you know, we do our thing and we get out and yeah, we can hold. And I understand that you said you had a TP, and that's something that I don't teach, whether you have a TP or not. And that's a good thing, because I don't teach you not to use the stop either. But what I do is I explain the entire market with you.
Yeah.
And we literally, our risk starts before the execution of the trade. So you should not even be in the market unless you understand even where you're at in the market. And there are too many people such as yourself and other traders and everything else and even including myself, I've done stupid shit. You know, I left the trade open to go get some lunch. Next thing you know, I'm getting in a fight with, a gas pipe. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, crazy. So
the TP, I'll explain that. I won't go into detail. That's for me. That's for me to say, you've got some money. That's enough.
Very good.
Because I have a problem with greediness. I want more and more and more and more and more. So by me having a TP, I look up at my P&L and go, that's mine. You fuckers can't have it back now because it's in my account. Well, theoretically.
Yeah.
And it used to frustrate me when I'd go into profit and then I'd lose it. So now I have a person on my shoulder that goes, take it. Well, in fact, it's you. Something. Am I allowed to say about home runs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing you taught me was base hits don't go for home runs. Never really knew what it meant. Now I do.
And a base hit doesn't mean a limited supply of a reward either. A base hit can be a large amount or a small amount, but we're not swinging for the fence and waiting 30 or 40 minutes, because on a 1 minute time frame,
it can do anything. And before your teaching, before I did the mentorship, I would trade on the 1 minute and I would pick a high, right? And I'd say, I think price is going to go to this previous high from 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago. And I would put my TP miles up there. How many times do you reckon it hit that? Never. It would go up a bit, so I got something right, and then it slammed down through my stop. And I think, why don't I just take? So with your teaching, I've realised that high shows no relevance because that's on my left shoulder. I don't care what that did. That's got nothing to do with what's happening now. That's just bullshit that's been told by all the other gurus. I'm interested in what price is doing now, and on my right shoulder, which I never used to understand either. But I'm purely focused on what is going on in front of me, not what's already happened. I suppose it could show some relevance, as we spoke about the other day, but not the relevance. It's not a place to, when price gets here, I'm going to sell, because you don't know it's going there. If it gets there.
Well, we know if it's going there, right? Like we know, but we know how we know what it has to do in order to get there, right?
Yeah. Yes, but if, for instance, if the market
That's the
opened
big
and
difference. If you know
yeah.
you know where price is going based on price rather than
Yes,
guessing, right?
they follow.
But
It's
we
like
know
jump on
that
the
price
train.
has to do certain things in order to go places, and nobody's really figuring that shit out.
It does make me laugh. And your explanation about high highs and high lows. I mean, I personally, I never saw it myself. But after your teaching, what you've taught me has been there the entire time I've been looking at trading. But for some unknown reason, I didn't notice any of it. I didn't see it. I didn't think to maybe go, hang on a second, that's happened before. That's doing that again. I wonder if there's any link between this and that. Hang on a second, he did it a week ago. Oh yeah, I did it 2 weeks ago. He did it yesterday. You don't, unless someone sits you down and teaches you that that's what you should be looking for. That this is what you should be looking for. You don't know. And that's the gems that you teach. You are then able to see it over and over and over and over again. And when was it? Yesterday, the big dump. I can't remember what time. I knew that was coming. You knew that was coming because you made a load of money on that, and I made a load of money on that. But you didn't tell me that it was coming, and I didn't tell you. I just sent you a
You
screenshot,
sent
and
me
you
the
knew.
picture. I'm like,
You knew exactly what.
I'm like, damn it, Martin! It's in the afternoon, and he's still trading.
Yeah. And that's powerful stuff. Because I don't even have to
you see?
say to you,
So
I took this.
hey, for the record, I made the video on where I basically finished $151,000 and $150,000 combine, and I have mentees taking the same position that I was taking. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Not once have you messaged me and said, I'm going short now. Not once. But I already know, I don't know if you've gone short, but if you were to send me a screenshot of $10,000 or $1,000 or $100, it makes no difference. Just a screenshot with a green positive trade, right? And I can then look at my phone and go, oh yeah, he took that short. I can see why you took it short. And I can even see your entry, not your particular entry. I can even see where you would have entered and why you've entered. And then I'm a bit bummed because I didn't see it because I wasn't watching. But I can't spend all day looking at it. I don't have the time. I wish I could. But that's the other thing I wanted to say, because I don't know really when to stop. So I had to put a profit factor, an amount. What am I happy with? Well, I'm happy that it's green, but am I happy making $5 a day? Probably not. I think I need a bit more than $5. Would I be happy making $100? Yeah, but that's easy. I can do that with my eyes closed with 1 micro. I might even do that actually tomorrow. See how much profit I can make with 1 micro in a day. Let's see if I can hit my $1,000 profit in a day with a micro. I'll message you if I can. Pretty sure I can. It'll take a little bit longer, obviously, because there's a lot more trades to hit that. But it's possible with the minimal amount of risk.
That's the whole point. If you know how to trade, that's why I use sizes. Is it gets a little boring for me, but at your stage in trading, and we all should know where we should all know where we're at ourselves, rather than anyone judge you where you're at. But the bigger the size, the better skill you need. And it's not like swinging. I put 60 lots and I have a $10,000 stop. The whole fucking same story. And then it gets up $3,000 and they cut it out. And then they say they had the greatest risk management because I didn't like the behavior of the candles and all this shit. All of that shit, traders, is full of shit. And it's not how you fucking trade. You cannot sit there and I don't like the behavior of the candles. And I had great risk management because I got out of my stop loss. I lost 7,000 versus 10,000 and I'm a $3,000 hero. That's not how that works. You know that. And trading that you get in because you've already done your homework. And me, I don't need a fucking stop loss. I don't need a stop loss. And I treat my accounts however I want to treat them. If I buy them, I treat them how I want to treat them. And it's not gambling. And I don't fucking gamble.
No.
And
you can't gamble.
no.
Well, even if you was gambling, you certainly couldn't gamble to 151K. No way.
No, what I'm saying is the way I teach trading is trading.
Yeah.
So regardless, from there, if you have a small drawdown limit, a daily drawdown limit or a maximum drawdown limit, it's very small. I mean, $4,500 in a market is very small when you have size. 2,000 in a market is really small for size. So, and you have people that can't even trade 1 micro with $4,500 and they're losing their account. Why? Because they haven't been taught how to trade. Not a strategy. Because people say, oh, any strategies work. No, they don't. You have to know how to trade and then use that specific strategy, right? You have to know the market. You're going to get lucky until your money runs out.
I would be honest to say that you don't teach a strategy.
No.
You just teach the market. And it's not higher highs and lower lows and this and all that crap, because that don't exist. And support and resistance and supply and demand and all that. I do not know how I fell for that, actually. I suppose I do know, actually. YouTube.
Well, yeah, 100% of people
Holy
are
shit.
looking at that. Almost 99% are
Yeah.
in all their decisions off of that, which is
What
absolutely
you've
crazy.
taught what you've taught is not a strategy. It's not buy here, sell there. It's I can look at the market and understand what it's doing and why it's doing it and what it's about to do and when it's about to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. The reason why I stopped using stop losses is because if I've done my homework, right, and I'm short, and then one of those bastard pinbar candles come back against me and it takes my stop, then does that, and then continues to where my TP would have been, it is the most frustrating thing. And I don't know when there's going to be a manipulation candle. Nobody does. It just appears and you think, what the hell? It just comes against you. And then you think, oh, don't like that. And then it continues in your direction. So I was getting stopped out of everything. And I'm thinking, right, I've either got to have a bigger stop but then if you have a bigger stop, you've got to have a bigger take profit. Otherwise, you not risk to reward, but you don't want a $1,000 stop and a $50 profit. So I just took them off. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not right 100% of the time. I average around about 80 to 90% on at the moment, which is great. I do take losses, but they're small. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I go, oh, shit, I'm wrong. But I don't let them run. I don't let them run until they wipe my account out like I used to, holding, hoping, praying, come on, go back. Because if as you say, if you can blow a $4,500 drawdown on 1 or 2 micros, you really should not be trading. Go and do your homework. Go and learn. You shouldn't be in the market. Quite simply, a 4,500 drawdown at 150 micros or 15 minis. Yeah, one candle will knock you out. You know that. You've taught me that, which is why I'm not going to do that. But it was just interesting to see, can I do it? Can the same skill be applied regardless of the size? Can I actually make money? And yeah, I can. But I don't want to burn through XFAs at 150 max contracts. But
yeah, you have to really,
interesting.
As your size goes up, you have to really, really be dialed in. I mean, really be dialed in.
You can't make a mistake because otherwise you lost your account.
15 contracts. I traded 15 contracts on that XFA all the way up. 15 contracts every time. You have to know. I mean, you really, really got to be dialed in.
There's no room for
the only reason you got to be really, really dialed in is because you have the weight of it. The contracts versus the small drawdown is like the drawdown does not exist.
No, it moves 5-10 points and your account's gone.
There's no room for error.
I've noticed with the spreads as well. Like if you are in heavy, fuck me, if you're in heavy and it pulls back against you, it's got to go a centimeter, and you're like minus 3K. It's so unevenly matched for what you have to hit your drawdown. Like if you had, I don't know, a 5K profit, 4.5K profit and a 4.5K drawdown, the distance it's got to travel to hit your profit is sometimes double that to hit your stop. It's really like unfair, but that spreads for you. And that's the name of the game. Whilst it's possible to make an unearthly amount of money, it's not something I can do, or I wouldn't want to do that. I'm better than 1 micro. I know that, but as I've said, I'm comfortable around 5-10 max. That does me. I won't go into specifics, but that does me. I'm happy with that. Even if I just take 1 trade a day, I'm still making what I make at work every day in 2-3 minutes. And that's the beauty of it. It's the skill that's building. And I remember you saying the other day, once you're back on an XFA, you start small and you build yourself up. You can start at 1. And then when you've got something in the kitty, you move up to 2 and you can build it. I would never then jump to 150, or 50 or whatever it is, or 20 it's 20 on an XFA, isn't it? For a 50K account, 20 minis,
micros.
yeah.
20 micros.
So are you back on micros or on minis now? You're just on minis.
Come on, regardless of what it says, a mini or a micro or whatever, I'm pounding it until it stops, until it rejects.
Order rejected.
I go by order rejected. So that's how I go. But like I said, I go order rejected, but I know where I'm at in the market. So
you get order rejected, then you get order filled. It's like seconds.
Right?
That video made me laugh.
I know if an order's filled, I don't have a stop loss. So
yeah, it's only got to be one thing.
Yeah. So, but is there anything else you want to tell anyone, or you have any goals coming out? I don't teach goals or anything else like that. It's just about getting better. And any advice you give anyone through your experiences thus far?
So I suppose for me, the goal through all of this was obviously to be profitable. But my main goal was to be consistently profitable. Consistently profitable is the word that is very hard to achieve in trading. To consistently make profit. Anybody can make money trading, but they lose it all eventually. You might get lucky. I remember on the group I was on, there'd be new guys and the guru would post a trade and the new guy would put 10 lots on this trade and make 5-10K. And that was his only trade and he was rich. It was amazing. And then you didn't hear from him again because he probably blew it all the next day. So as you've said before, having size, having money to trade with, you can make big money, but that doesn't mean that you can trade. It doesn't mean that you are consistent. And for me, my goal was consistently profitable. I believe that I've achieved that to the stage I'm at. I wouldn't be consistently profitable if I traded max contracts every day. No, I'll make a mistake and I can't weather the storm at max contracts. I'm not good enough yet to be able to do that type of trading. And I do it as a joke for myself just to see what I can make. But no, when I'm live and doing it properly, obviously I'll reduce the risk. My goal, I suppose, and it's going to be by the end of the year, consistent payouts. Now, I don't care at this point, and this is another reason behind the van. I don't care if it's $100 a month. It doesn't bother me. I just want the consistency to keep growing and the practicing to keep filling me with information about myself, because it is, after all, us versus the market. And I'm learning a lot about myself. I keep my chart executions on so I can see where I've traded and why I've traded. And I scroll back on my phone and I go, that was stupid, but that was spot on. That was spot on. That might have been a bit impulsive. And I'll remember that. And then the next day I go, right, less of the impulsiveness, let's just wait. And I'm shoehorning myself down this professional level where the old Martin that used to just click buttons and hope, he's almost gone. I would say he's 99% gone, and I'm only taking what I'm supposed to. And since I've been doing that, consistently profitable is what's happening. So anyone who's watching, if you just do what Rich says, then you're actually profitable. So there's a lot to be said about listening. I've not been a very good listener my whole life, and I've cut corners and done things my own way. So when you listen to somebody who's teaching you, and I've always been that person, if someone knows what they're doing, I'm all ears because I want to learn. And that's how I learn. I learn from people teaching, obviously.
Well, I've checked you also, and I kind of brought you back on the tracks if you needed to. Like I said, I'm separate from a friend and a mentor and part of the trading family. Those are all separate, right? It's all separate.
Yeah.
So as far as the mentorship, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear.
No. Do you remember
I'm going to be frank.
A few months back, you asked me for me to send you my trades for the day. You might remember that. And you went through them, you reviewed, and you just went gambling. And I took it to heart. I said, no, I wasn't. And I had a reason for everything. I'll be honest. I had a reason, I had justification, but it was just gambling. I had no idea. I was still learning. And that was important because sometimes
I wasn't picking on you. I'm just telling you.
You need to do that because it keeps me in check. And you might have other mentees that listen to you once and do exactly what you say. But
but when you've had, it's hard if you're taught, or if you see a bunch of YouTube stuff and they have all this fabrication about how they're making millions of dollars just by pushing a button and you have a 50% chance of winning. What is somebody going to do? Why is this guy so lucky? I'll push a button. I'm a pretty lucky guy or gal, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, it's like this person wants people to fail. That's not trading. Is to push.
No, they just want their money. They just want the money.
But it's such a disservice to the community. I mean,
nobody sees it.
It really sucks. But the point is that when I asked to check, I said, show me the chart. You showed me the chart and you had these long and short tools. I said, we don't use that shit. We don't use that. Show me the executions. And you're like, oh, God.
I was trying to get lucky.
I was just trying to get lucky. And I'm like, this is gambling. Get that shit out of here. Yeah. But that's the point. That is the point. It's not my opinion, right? It's not my opinion. I'm not like a god or something. It's not my opinion. I show you, I explain to you why things happen. I show you why they happen. I show you how it rotates. I show you all of this stuff. And then it's your job to go back in history and look at it. You can go back 25, 20 years on any time frame and see it. It doesn't matter. The algorithm, all that shit's fake. It's fake, man. It's fake. I don't know how else to say it. Anybody that was in the same group we were in, I would say that shit's fake, and they just, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't. I'm like, the stuff is fake. So traders, if you're looking at a chart, the chart's fake. I hate to tell you, but it's fake, right? It rotates. All it does is rotate. It rotates, different shapes, different sizes, different times. There's no specific time. That's why when I talk about time, there isn't the 9:30 burst of something going out. No. There's 1,440 candles on a minute time frame at 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:30. Well, that works for you because that's when your available time is, right? Or whenever that is. For me, I might have a 15-minute window. So here I have a 15-minute window, and between 15 candles and 15 minutes, that's not a whole lot of trading time for me with all these accounts. So everyone's situation's different. We're not like, oh, okay, let's sit down here and trade, class. We're the scammers. We're the ones that are fucking all the rules up with all these prop firms, okay? We're going to all get together and we're going to wait an hour and a half. And when we see our A+ setup, we're all going to take it at the same time, but not everyone get in at the same time, okay? This bullshit. That's not fucking trading. That's called scamming. And oh, hey, team over there, when we go long, if we say we're going to go short, that means we're going long, okay? And then they have all these code, blah, 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 and that way no one can record them and they're all pressing buttons. You know, and all of a sudden they see 15,000 entries. Why? Because they see the data. So they Top Step knows who can trade or not. But you see, if they have a person like myself that doesn't give a shit about the fucking program, not disrespectful, but if I want to go out and I want to test an account, I'll go and test an account out. That's my right. I don't have to be like prim and proper and sit down and, okay, here we are, and I'm going to look for my A+ setup because I want to impress a prop firm. It's my
I'm not
money.
interested in that. Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
not
my
interested
money,
in
right?
it.
And it's your money. How you want to treat that is up to you. I don't dictate how you spend your money. Oh, we don't like that you bought maybe 10 and you passed 10 in a row. We don't like that. That might be gambling. They may pass judgment on traders, or you might get bumped, whatever their bumped is, right? You know, you might get sent a letter that, hey, we're watching you. Congratulations. We're impressed with your trading, blah, blah, blah. Or you might, you know, or just all different things. So the whole point is you don't tell a consumer when he goes into the door what to buy. So here's an example. You don't go to a store and the owner of the store is sitting out there saying, what are you here to buy? It's none of your fucking business. Well, you're going to buy a $50,000 account or a $150,000 account. And how many are you going to buy? I'll buy 1,000. Why? It's a hobby for me. Or I'll buy 2. Well, no, you need to buy more than 2. You need to practice. You see, they should not dictate who buys what. It's not their money. If they're open for business, you treat everyone equally. How do you treat everyone equally? You don't say a fucking word to anybody, and you just change the rules. Don't come out and say, we're going to change the rules because of all these scammers and schemers and fraudsters. First of all, prove it. Prove it to the community. Don't cherry pick 1 or 2 accounts. How many traders you have? 100,000? And you're going to say 90,000 are all scammers and schemers? Maybe they're just trying so hard to pass that they're failing. How do you know, right? Maybe they have babies that they're watching. Maybe they're at work. Maybe they're on their phone that has a cracked screen. You see what I'm talking about? So all of these prop firms, they don't treat everyone equal because they always have their hands in everyone's shit. And then they pick and choose, you know, what they're going to do or who they're going to target. So that's why with us, I teach you how to actually gain a skill. So if you get banned or if you don't like a prop firm, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Your skill.
That's the nice thing. Yeah. I'll just take it wherever.
You can go
and
anywhere,
even tomorrow
and
start with nothing.
Traders, it doesn't change. The skill is here to stay. And even if they flip the market upside down, they flipped it sideways, our skill would still work. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter. That's the point, is an actual skill versus gambling. And them picking and choosing who's gambling and who actually has a skill, they're not even qualified to do that. They're not qualified to do that because they say, oh, there's no DCA in because if you're DCA and you don't know how to trade in the first place, come on over here, little fuck. I hear so much shit and then everyone's, oh, that guy's a god. Yeah, DCA is gambling and or whatever the terminology is. Do we use terminology here?
No.
Hell no. It doesn't know. It's we learn how to trade. That's it. We call it what? Trading. You don't go to a baseball game and call it football.
Do you remember when you were on the group and you said that you smacked the market and people didn't quite understand what you meant at first? I didn't. I was like, what do you mean you smacked the market? Or when price pulls back against you and you know you've got the direction right and you smack it again and then the little fucker pulls back some more. So then you smack it again and smack it again. And then eventually it goes in your direction. And then you collect all of it all the way down and job done. That lost people's minds. They couldn't understand that. You actually add to a losing trade. You're insane. It's not losing. It's just not gone where it's supposed to go just yet. It will do. Give it a second. I'm getting a better price. And then when it does go,
that's a good point. You add to your winners or don't add to a loser.
Order filled.
Order filled. So you add to a loser or add to a winner and all this stuff. Risk starts before the execution of a trade. They're adding to a loser before they even enter because they don't even know how to trade.
And then they're adding in.
These clueless bastards they don't know what the hell's going on. If you don't know how to trade, as soon as you open your wallet, you buy an account and you press the button, you're the one that's at risk, not me, right? They didn't do their homework. They don't understand the market. Therefore, they're the ones adding to a loser. We do our homework and we do our analysis, which is very simple of the market prior to the execution. No fundamentals or no subjective information, and we trade. That's
Just
all.
facts. It's just facts
Just
over
trade.
and over again. I love facts, and I love to see the stuff that you teach that it appears every day, because I know with a very high probability what's coming up. Because of that, that calms the nerves, because I'm like, right, well, price is doing this again. That means, and I can't go into details, but you know what I'm talking about. It's doing a thing that it does in the market before it goes in a direction.
Mhm.
And seeing that daily, it's like, oh, we're here again, because I'm not sure what I can and can't. So I won't describe it, but I'm saying when you see the same thing you teach, that happens daily, constantly, no matter what time frame, no matter what pair. It's a nice feeling, because then you, with high probability, know the outcome based on that, not hunch, not intuition, but by fact on the screen. That's what Rich taught me. That means this is going to happen. I'm going to wait, and then when this happens, I'm going to do that. And that's the high probability setups. It's not an A+ setup, I don't think. It's just understanding what the market is doing and what it's trying to do, and the manipulation that it goes through, tricking people into going long before slamming down. And I just laugh, because I know it's going down. You know, I say I know with high probability, I know it's about to go down, but it will trick people in by just manipulating everyone in. Oh, it's a big bull candle, buy, 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 and then the next candle's wallop straight down. I'm like that, waiting for it. It's a good feeling when it behaves itself. I don't think it's possible to be 100% right all the time. I mean, I was that 29k, well, no, it was 30k. That was 100% hit rate. Was it a lucky trade? No, because it was about 40 or 50 trades. It wasn't one trade.
Very
But
good.
not knowing what I was doing in the moment meant that I could profit. If I didn't know what you taught me, then it would be a lucky trade. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything else. But so yeah, over the next coming months, any viewers that do watch this, they're going to see the progression, I think, and that's great, because I'm just a normal bloke, a normal guy with a normal job that wants to learn this and try and do well at it. And I'm honest. I believe you've seen the high. Well, you've definitely seen the highs and the lows from me, the ups and the downs, the positive, the negative. The amount of times I said I can't do this, I'm giving up, and you've gone, hold on a second, wait a minute, just chill out, do this, concentrate, go back, do some more still chart work, and it all comes back to me. All the teachings come back, and then I remember, yeah, I was being a bit emotional and over the top and being a bit of an idiot. Let's just calm down, take a moment to reflect. None of that trading today was on plan. None of that is what Rich has taught me. That is just pure emotional going on tilt. And I do suffer from that. I have suffered from it quite a few times. Going on tilt, I lose one
Well,
and then I lose another.
tilt
It's
is
a
gambling. So if
fucker.
you're
Yeah, it is.
hanging out with gamblers, you're going to go on tilt more often than not hanging out with them. Everyone
Yeah,
wants to get their frustration out at the market. Unfortunately, you're going to lose 99% of the time taking your
yeah,
frustration.
definitely. Because you just make trades based on it's
Emotion.
weird. It's like, yeah, it's like your whole, I don't want to call it a trading plan, but your whole teaching goes out the window, and you're just aggressively pressing buy and sell just to fucking. It's like you're drowning, and you're doing anything to get out of it. And that's the dangerous days for me. I do believe I had one the other week, as you know about. Not perfect. Went on tilt, lost 22k. Happy to admit it. And you said, don't worry about it. It happens. And I was like, yeah, but I'd spent all this time. And he said, don't worry about it. It happens. I do it. The next day, I had to prove to myself, can I still fucking do this? Because I've just blown it. The next
Well,
day,
why did you lose that? I mean, you lost that because of what?
I went on tilt. I was
Well,
having an argument,
okay, so
and I shouldn't have been trading. I shouldn't have been
okay,
trading. I
so
was,
is tilt part of the trading program?
no.
Okay, so that's why you lost it. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
having losses is okay. Having blowups is not because of a strategy or the way you're taught how to trade. That's a big
No.
difference.
I lost all train of knowledge on that day, and I blew it. And I was down about it, because I thought, oh, I'd worked so hard, I was doing so well. But then the next day, market opened again, and I made my 1,000, and it just restored my faith, I suppose, in it. I thought I just had a shitty day, a very bad shitty day, to be fair. And that can't happen again. And I recognized, if I am in a state, if I'm not calm, if I'm not locked in and laser focused, and I'm ready to take on the trading for the day, then I simply don't trade. Because when I'm in that sabotaging, impulsive, bad mindset, get me away from the computer or the phone, because I will destroy everything I've built. And that's a personal thing. It's a problem for me. I'm working with it. I'm trying to understand it. But as I said, the next day, back to it again. The skill came back, made my profit, closed it, locked it out. I thought, right, I haven't forgotten what I've learned. The skill's still there. Let's do it again tomorrow. So that's what I've been doing. Just keep doing it every day. So my 150k account is up to 192k. So I'm going to hit 200,000 tomorrow. And then as of next week, I'm going to then be sensible and do 1 or 2 micros and see how long that takes me. I'm just playing around with it for a reason, because it is helping me understand more about myself. The method is still the same. The trading is still the same. The teaching is still the same. The size is not. But as I say, it's helping me adjust to the very most ridiculous position size and the very most conservative. I like that because it proves that the skill is there because I can do either. And that's good. I think that's good because having the skill across all types of the trading, all types of size means that I'm growing as a trader. And that's what I want. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be fearful. I'm not fearful now, but I don't want to be scared of big numbers. And a lot of people are scared of big numbers. So it's almost like a desensitizing thing. But yeah, until I'm ready to do it properly, I'm adjusting myself. I'm learning myself. I'm hitting my fears straight on so that I am a better person and I can eliminate as many emotions as I can and just become the robot that you are. Because you are not bothered in the slightest of the size that you go in. Whether you go in 1 micro, 10 micro, or 15 minis, it makes no emotional difference to you as a person. You're just like, yeah. Oh, 2,000, 2,000, 5,000, 2,000. You don't care. You're so dialed in and used to it that I do believe that you don't have any emotional attachment to it anymore because you've done it so much. That is bloody hard to do, but you've done it. And I would like to train my brain to have less emotions within trading because I think emotions, we're all guilty of them. We're human. Emotions don't help. I don't think. Anyway, rant over.
So size down, and we'll do a next video. So size down, and we'll see where you're at in the next time that we talk on here. We talk as much as you want on the DM or the questions and stuff like that. But so in the next video, then size down, and we'll see where you're at as far as your mindset and how your skill is growing. And thank you for giving an interview for the community. This is for the community.
Worries.
It's not for me. It's for Martin, and he can go back and watch these videos and learn from what he says and keep himself accountable.
It's coming, people. It's coming in the next couple of months. I know with 100% surety. The green days are building. So, all right, buddy. Nice to speak to you. You take care.
Thank you. You too. Peace, traders.
Cheers.